Well, looks like the Earth is almost trying to connect it completely. Hey everybody, this is me, Piglet here, and I'm Sylvester here. We're back for the Maxi Toys, and welcome back to more Let's Play of Sonic Unleashed for the Nintendo Wii / PlayStation 2. So last time we actually did manage to complete it with 2 bosses, as well as the Jungle Joyride and Daytime stage. Like, we did beat the crap out of Dark Guardian from Shamar's nighttime boss, and we managed to destroy Eggman Land in the daytime boss in Adabat. And today for this video is that we're about to be doing, well, and we managed to restore those 2 continents at the exact same time. Like, we restored the 5th continent and the 6th continent. But now you're probably thinking, what's the next objective we're about to be doing? Well, actually this might actually be the final objectives we'll be about to be doing now, and that was actually restoring the 7th and final continent. Now, where exactly is the 7th and final continent is? Well, first things first, we need to explore a bit of Shamar to actually talk to Professor Pickle right here. And then basically we're gonna have to move on to the last district, in this case, Eggman Land. So, with that being said, let's go into it.
Welcome to Eggman Land, the brainchild of my heart and soul. This is my magnificent empire, made possible through my genius and the limitless energy harnessed from Dark Gaia.
What? Whoa, this place is crazy.
I'll never understand Eggman's tastes.
Get a good shot.
Surprise? Yes, of course you are. Sonic! If you have any complaints, come deliver them to me in person. If you can, that is.
Ah, he's enjoying this way too much.
Sonic! I can feel the last temple nearby. He must have built this place on top of it.
Well, I guess we'll just have to tear it down.
Now, if you ever play this on the HD version, this will actually be the longest marathon level. But if you actually be playing this on the Wii / PS2, it's not too bad. But the only problem I have with it is that you have to do 5 nighttime stages, and the last one will probably take you about 11 minutes to finish it. So here we go with Eggman Land, the level which is called Eggman Land, obviously. So here we are. Of course, as you expected, we're actually going to be doing the daytime stage, of course. And this may actually be the final time to actually exploit the with the daytime stage, unfortunately, because even then, since this version only has 7 daytime stages as opposed to 26 in the 360 version, unless if you want to include some DLC packs as well. But even then though, darn it, I got hurt by an electricity shield by that swap bot here. So anyway though, you know how in the 360 version of this game that the level itself is actually a combination of 3 different segments between 3 different daytime segments and 3 different nighttime segments. But in this version, it was actually just basically individual levels. Like, we actually have just a daytime stage. Well, it's only 1 daytime stage, come to think about it. In addition to that, we also managed to try to encounter with 5 nighttime stages, which it might be thinking that seems a hell of a lot nighttime stages to begin with. But the thing is though, is that the last stage we'll be about to be hit into for a nighttime department will take you about like a bit longer if we kind of think about it. But I guess we'll have to find out and see as soon as we actually get to that stage. So, predictably, Eggman Land is easily the last level of the game because, well, essentially this level is quite hard. Although, honestly, I don't find this level to be as brutal as the ones in the 360 version because the amount of times if you're trying to die, from the 360 version is the fact that, well, gradually, if you die too many times from that one particular section of Eggman Land, luckily though, you can actually get yourself some lives back or some 1-ups back as soon as you actually try to tackle for this one giant portion of the level. Like, it'll probably take you about 23 minutes from that one particular Eggman Land level. Jeez, that was quite long time to think about it. And yeah, if you guys can tell already from this little robot, we haven't seen him since, I think the last time we've seen him was actually in Apato's daytime level, so even though it has been quite a few stages ago since we actually saw him. And just like earlier, that you're gonna have to hit him like 5 times, because if you do hit him 5 times, then you'll be free to go, and then you probably won't dodge as many, like, blow attacks as possible, so even then, it's not that much of a threat. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of emphasis on tricky platforming segments and stuff like this can happen, so yeah, even then though, since we actually just pretty much be OP'd in this stage pretty much, so yeah, I just want to clarify for this, is the fact that this will actually, although for the time being sake, after when Sonic and Styx will decide to actually just take a break on Super Mario 64 DS for the time being, and then we'll actually, those two will decide to let me and Piglet will decide to actually trying to actually end this playthrough during that, in the middle part of September, possibly, assuming if that depends on the time length and stuff like that. So, yeah, as far as what I was gonna be saying for that part in particular, so, yeah, and there are some occasional moments where we're just gonna do like, let's just say Sonic Levels 2, but that won't be happening until like a couple of days or so, yeah, that's all that matters anyway. So, yeah, the only difficult part I found from this particular version in Eggman Land is the fact that you have to deal with some really tight curves. Especially noticeable if you come towards where you're not supposed to boost to win, basically, because if you somehow accidentally press the Y button or something, you probably ended up falling off the level, and then you have to restart the entire section where the checkpoint is, assuming that... You know this little indicator that it actually says area time? This means checkpoints, so according to that, what I was gonna say. And I think this might actually be the last section of the levels. Gonna have to do quick steps and occasional monkey bar type of sequence here, and yet again a lot more monkey bars. Assuming if you actually just time your jump and whatnot to actually, I don't think we can get ourselves an S rank in this level. No, although we're quite close though. We're quite close to that. I think the only time that it kind of catches me off guard, it was the fact that it was on the Ferris wheel section, and there was actually a quickest way in order to actually deal with this level until you get an S-rank from that part, but I found that to be quite a bit of a while too late timing, as far as I'm concerned, so that's okay, because we already got this in our previous file, and plus not to mention that we'll practically take an A rank just in case. There's no medal requirements for the NIS version anyway, so I don't know what's the point of having to force you to collect as many medals as you can. So anyway, unless unlike the the 360 version, you must be able to reach up to like 120 some medals, assuming if you actually get reach into Eggman Land after when you finished On a Bad Day, of course, and also Egglanter, of course, not to mention for that. And also, just like how it does in the, when you're trying to reach the Spagonia in this version, there's no Tornado Defense Act 2 stage in this version, as opposed to the 360 version. You have to deal with Tornado Defense stages twice. Like, one, you can only time, for one time you have to reach into, like, you're gonna have to reach into Spagonia, and then the second time, you have to reach into Eggman Land, and then, I'm pretty sure for that second act of Tornado Defense stage from the HD version, I think you're gonna have to fight the exact same boss, which was Egg Fortune, basically, so, even though it's not that much to change when it comes to actually dealing with, the Tornado Defense boss, so, at least in this version, it does not actually contain Egg Fortune anywhere, so, but nonetheless though, that we're pretty much guaranteed that, we at the, like, cut to the chase until, like, the tornado arrives at the Eggman Land, and sure enough, Sonic and Chip will actually try to arrive at Eggman Land, although they're at the Eggman Land right now. But every now and then, I think they're trying to find the last Gaia Temple, and then hopefully it will actually restore the 7th and final continent, and also the 7th Chaos Emerald as a result too. So as you can see, the mission we just did is to collect 280 rings. It's not too bad. But again, if you fall off of that level on this mission, you pretty much have to restart the whole mission again. So just be very careful with bottomless pits and everything. Now we're doing the second time on the second mission of the time attack mode. In this case, the time attack mission type. Because last time we did one of those, it was actually Anabat Day. But the only difference has been is that you have to do the entire level instead of like the shorter portion of the level, unlike Anabat Day. So this makes it kind of looks a bit tricky at first, but luckily you can die as many times as you wanted to. Oh goodness gracious, don't pull up! Oh! Yeah, like I just did right there. That's okay though, because we got just got a checkpoint there, so luckily for those of you who've noticed that already, is the fact that if you die at certain points in the time attack missions, luckily though, you die like quite a few times. Although it does waste your time for a bit, because you do have a time limit of course. But then if you do have if you fall off the level, you actually restart where the checkpoint is, so that should be alright I suppose, but sometimes it can be a little bit of a time waster because, well, assuming if you actually touched it on the previous checkpoint that you actually touched, then the next thing you know is that the time itself actually decreases every time when we did actually, although it did happen back a long time ago when we first got the game back in Christmas Day in 2008. We got pretty much stuck in this particular level for the first time, and I could not believe how time attack actually becomes really harder. Well, as far as we actually did play it from like time to time and stuff like that, specifically if we want to include the 2011 version of this playthrough, or in this case this Let's Play, although granted that playthrough is now removed due to the the quality itself is super horrendous. But even then though, that we actually pretty much be fine with this stage, because honestly I don't find this stage is not that much brutal than it was in the 360 version, because sometimes though you might as well die easily in Eggman Land in the HD version, or in this case the 360 version, because, well, the only part I found is kind of difficult in the 360 version is the second Werehog section, where you're gonna have to walk for those little tiny pipes, all these drain pipes and everything. That was actually quite hard, especially noticeable when there's little balancing your curves and you can't able to grab onto those pipes. Especially noticeable, I think it was actually in this little heat section, I'm presuming. Jeez, this place actually has a lot of lava to it. It almost kind of reminds me like a Bowser's Castle vibe. But, except it's called Eggman Land instead of Bowser's Castle, so to speak. So anyway, let's just go ahead and concentrate onto this. So let's hopefully... Oh, what? Oh, dang it. Stupid missiles. Well, luckily though, we just got to that exact same checkpoint there, though, so hopefully it was not die. Thankfully we got some rings though, so let's just wait until this enemy appears, and then thou shalt able to do the trick. Because that was kind of my fault for that right there, because in the amount of times if we think we're trying to make it, but sometimes the enemy projectiles do actually just trying to catch us off guard. But sometimes it fairly occasionally happens like this, so anyway. So for this level's not too bad, especially in the daytime stage's sake. Although, granted, it is kind of cool to actually, like, I don't know, like... So anyway, so as far as the difficulty in this level, it's pretty easy for the most part. Oh, we got a minute now. Okay, that's actually quite clever than I was expecting. Because, well, the timer limit, as far as the time attack in this stage, is actually really generous with you when it comes to if you actually get even more time limit than you come to think about it. Yeah, it's more like it kind of reminds me like a little arcade style of like time attack little countdown. But anyway, so let's just go ahead and not boost like that, because that'll be an idiot when that happens. Yeah, try not to boost in that section, because if you do, you're actually gonna have to like you ended up missing the platform, so you just have to be very cautious with that part. So, I highly recommend to you is to actually keep it steady for the most part, because The cons is essentially just actually heavily just trying to do a boost to win in every single aspects of the game itself. Although especially situational when there's like, if you come across into like almost into the bottomless pit or anything, you can't essentially just boost over it or essentially just plow through everything. So sometimes you have to take itself so easy and steady. So icon is mostly more common than these days. But anyway, so we almost there. We almost done with this mission, and then I think that will actually wrap things up with daytime stages for Eggman Land for Sonic the Hedgehog in a way. Which will be fortunate because the next thing we need to do after this mission ends, like so, then this means that we might actually tackle through the longest part of Eggman Land, which was the nighttime stages itself. So yeah, we added a new mission, which I think, if I remember rightly, I think that mission was actually no damage scenario, so it kind of reminds me like Sonic and the Secret Rings. Alright, so here we go with level 1 Infiltration in Eggman Land's nighttime stage. So as you guys probably expected, unlike how it does in the 360 versions, that when you come across into an enemy fight in Eggman Land, there's no battle theme that's actually playing. However though, unfortunately that doesn't seem like it goes for the likes of this version, unfortunately, because if you come across into the enemy encounters, especially noticeable in this version, including the PS2 version if you have to be more precise, this means you have to hear a lot of battle theme music, which is super repetitive. But I'm thinking this may actually be the last time to actually viewing this, although expecting that if we actually get into the 5th and final act in the nighttime department, then we're pretty much guaranteed that we're actually going to be like completely ignoring this part for that particular point and onwards. So hey, at least we're almost done for this game right here. So until for the time being, after we're actually going to be finishing this playthrough, in this case this Let's Play, I'm assuming that either me and Duffy are going to decide to do Sonic and the Black Knight until when that playthrough decides to be going up until at some point in the next month or something. But even then though, that might be a bit of a fun playthrough, although gradually though, I think White Teddy and Brown Teddy did done that back in although he did first start it back in 2012, but then, oh goodness, we're almost gonna die. We need some more health. Yeah, because we need some 50 rings, because 50 rings is actually really helpful on this level, because not to mention, I believe when these enemies combine, I think these enemies can get much more tougher with their strength and all that. I think that's why this makes this nighttime sequences in the Eggman Land is sort of tougher this time. I'm not sure what this door can actually do. I think it does nothing, so it makes this door kind of useless. So anyways, let's just go ahead and grab ourselves some, you know, grappling holders right here until we actually come across into the next set of sections. And just like how it does it on the daytime stage, I don't think this level's not that hard, but just long. But the only difficult part I found was the enemy damage input is actually way stronger now. And also some really bunch of annoying enemies coming back, like for instance these really annoying variations of these red wasps return. But even then though, although granted though, it's all about timing requirements and as far as this is considered. But even then, you're gonna have to mainly just try to do that, because sometimes you always have to put up with these things. But still, it's kind of hard to believe. Oh my goodness gracious, we're almost gonna be dying any moment. We need some more rings, dang it. Well, hopefully we need to get some more rings assumedly. Although, the best thing I can describe about where we actually got hit a lot, but the health bar is almost depleted, it's the fact that you actually, although granted it's because it's my fault, because I accidentally just let myself just get blown up by this Dark Gaia bomb, which that deals a lot of damage from the health part depleted though, but oh well. But at least until when we, as soon as we die any moment, oh good, 50 rings. Come on, grab 50 rings, thank you. Although, it doesn't matter too much, unlike the ones in the HD version, because if we somehow almost get our health depleted by these enemy contacts, assuming in this version you'll actually get yourselves health restored from after doing so, and then you lose a life and you actually got to that point. Just trying to continue. Also in the 360 version, your health depleted, you have to restart to where the checkpoint you touched. So, or this essentially bypassing it. So, yeah, even though this level was really easy for the most part. So, even then, I found this version to be supremely easier, which I kind of felt a little bit of a problematic for this part, but I'm gonna have to admit though, because I really enjoyed the challenge of the 360 version in my opinion, because obviously in terms of speed, platforming skills, and all kinds of enemies that we have to beat the crap out like of them. But then even then, I found this the HD version is supremely challenging, as it does it for this version, because, geez, this version is actually really easy, kind of think about it. Although, despite some plenty of deaths that we actually encountered, like, for instance, the, well, Alaska Day, that we did die, like, quite a few times, I'm presuming twice. Anyway, so I think this might actually be the last part of Act 1, Infiltration or something like this, where we're gonna have to fight the giant portion of the monster that was actually... I think we saw him since, like, Shamar Knight or something. Although, unfortunately though, in addition to we actually have this giant monstrosity, this means we also have to deal with this annoying electricity flying enemies. Well, luckily though, we actually did manage to defeat that with these. So, yeah. I should probably mention for the S-rank time on the daytime stage in Eggman Land, is the fact that you have to return for like under like 4 minutes and 30 seconds, so assuming if you're actually trying to like do that particular method and stuff like this can happen. So even then though, it's not too much of a difficult level, it's unlike how it does in the HD version, so to speak. But even though we said that quite a few times recently for this one and onwards. But anyway, so I'm assuming that this is actually a good level to actually give you a crap ton of like obviously force points to deal with, because if you found a sequence well enough, to simulate the force points mostly, for example, and then if you're trying to you know, collect them, then you can actually quickly level your werewolf up. Unlike how it does in the HD version, that in order to actually, you know, level up the Sonic, and especially the werewolf, then you have to collect those yellow crystal shards or something. It always kind of reminds me like a crystal shard with Kobe 64, don't ask me. And I think that's how this level ends. Well, just simply put, just go climb down for this pole here, and truth be told, there's a gold ring just up ahead. And there we go. So let's see how we did, and we got an S-rank. Seriously, a lot of S-ranks for this Werehog department at the moment. So, yeah. I think we'll just have to say that I think we're actually ending things up here, unfortunately, even though we're going to do the next stage on this video as well, but we've run out of time, so to speak. So, yeah, join us next time, and we got a level up, such as level 5 attack, so, and only 2 more statuses left, and then hopefully the entire fill bar of the Werehog level up department will be completed. So anyways, next time on Let's Play Sonic Unleashed for the Wii/PlayStation 2, we're hopefully going to continue on with the Eggman's nighttime stages. So see you guys then. Later fellas. See you guys then. Continue playing? Maybe, yeah.